Okay, what's up, folks? August the 7th, 2024. So I got a few things situated. One of the things that I have situated is the microphone situation, which I always seem to be messing up with. Finally have it situated, so I have it in order on my streaming software so that I can easily see what's what when it comes to knowing whether or not the microphone is on and whether or not it's actually getting any data. The second thing is what happened yesterday is somehow when I was playing around with the function buttons and the F3, all the function buttons, I managed to turn off the microphone. Well, on this computer, when you turn off the microphone, unless I'm missing something, I don't see any other indication that you turn the microphone off. With the exception of turning it back on, and then it'll have an icon that shows that it's back on. So unless you do a mic check, you just don't know. So anyway, now that's out of the way, I don't know how long or short that this is going to be. There we go. All right, good. Yeah, so everything is working right. Yeah, so I don't know how long or short this is going to be, because I might be getting out of here very shortly. Excuse me. First things first. Papa freaks all the honey. No. Biggest smalls. All right. Okay, so let's go here. We're just going to turn off I noticed before when I turn this off and turn it back on. Yeah, there we go. All right, so it gives the orders correctly. Okay, that being said, this is what it looked like today. The first part of the day, I had okay, so let's back it up, just kind of generally talking about what happened yesterday and the incompatibility with OneDrive. One thing that you must know is that, as I understand, TradeStation is incompatible with with having its files and everything stored on OneDrive. So I was having some issues where all of a sudden my charts wouldn't pull up, right? So all these charts, that pull a lot of data and that kind of thing, especially this 15-second time frame, it wouldn't pull up. It wouldn't pull the data correctly. And it was just waiting for the server from the data, that kind of thing. Well, anyway, I sent a message to the TradeStation forums and they suggested that I reach out to TradeStation, call them, reach out to tech support. They told me that actually the very first question that she asked me was whether or not I had my platform set up with OneDrive. And one of the YouTube subscribers, they mentioned it a long time ago. They said they noticed that some of my files had the hierarchy, the folder subfolder levels of OneDrive, and they said, you not have any issues with that? And I said no. So anyways, I don't know that I've had any issues. I've had intermittent little things go on, but nothing super significant. But when I was talking to the lady from tech support of TradeStation, she suggested that there's a lot of issues that happen when people run TradeStation from OneDrive, and that's essentially what I was doing. I don't know if maybe I had my TradeStation platform on the local hard drive, but then a lot of the other files and folders, the desktop, the workspaces, all that kind of stuff was actually on the OneDrive. But either way, I think what happened is I got this computer about a year ago. I got it specifically, for trading, but more specifically for programming, to be able to handle the computations and the data and the load. Otherwise, I was just using a laptop. Everything's Lenovo. Shouts out to Lenovo. But so I believe it's probably been just about a year. And so that being said, I must have had with that year, I must have had like introductory OneDrive larger capacity storage. So And then once that year was over, it dropped me back down to a trial basis or whatever, you know. So I had about 70 gigs worth of data on OneDrive, and you know, that's backups of TradeStation. That's my EasyLanguage. That's everything. Workspaces. And so after this trial period or whatever happened after that went out, it ended up showing that I only had 5 gigabytes worth of data. So that 5 gigabytes, I'm over by, you know, 65 gigabytes, that kind of thing. So I think what happened when I went onto the OneDrive website, it essentially said that my account was frozen until I got my data within the within my limits. And so, you know, and I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense, but it was kind of foul. Well, I don't check emails a lot either, but so once I get it back under 5 gigabytes, then I can have access to OneDrive again. And so I think essentially because a lot of the files and everything were stored on OneDrive, because OneDrive was locked up, it wasn't allowing me to pull my workspaces and use the files appropriately, and that was my significant issue. So anyway, I don't know if TradeStation is doing something new, but she spent about, or she just wanted to hang out on the phone and just kind of burn her working hours just kind of hanging out with me. But she spent about an hour on the phone with me, just kind of going back and forth and trying to figure out how to get OneDrive off or get OneDrive to not sync, and then move the files from OneDrive to my desktop. And then we went to the registry editor, and then we edited some things. So she spent a lot of time with me, and I told her, I said, you know, specifically, I said, TradeStation does not have a good reputation for customer service. I said, you are single-handedly turning that around. But her customer service was really good. So anyway, we got situated. So again, if you have OneDrive on your computer, if you got a new computer or something like that, just kind of be sure that TradeStation is not putting files on OneDrive. And I knew it had some files on OneDrive. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. And then when I go back and I look at my desktop target is actually set to anything that I put on my desktop is actually going to OneDrive. So I do have my stream writes, my stream reads for all this data. I have it going to a folder on my desktop, and so that's essentially going into OneDrive as well. So I got to get rid of that. I got to get that off of OneDrive. Okay, so this is what happened today, and so that's just kind of a, you know, just kind of an overview recap of what I was talking about yesterday, in which I think it was Danny mentioned that he couldn't hear me at all, and yeah, so we got that situated now. All right, this is where I run my strategy at, strat bid bust. This is where I run this specific strategy at. It's the last one that I've, you know, written in the last week or two, just because it's done fairly well. But I need to, you know, work on it a little bit more. Okay, so this is what it did today. I think it's showing 279 profit, but somewhere in there, I had some errors going right here, and so it put me up about 136 or so. So if you remove 136 from that 279, then that's the profit that I made for today. But again, I really only turned the script on starting here about 1 o'clock or so. So I missed all this morning time action. Now what happened in here, this is because I have, and I mean, I might suggest that you guys do this as well. When you're setting up your strategies, you can't back test live order tickets, right? So I've got a input on my script that says, or pretty much asks me whether or not I want to, I was trying to pull it up, but whether or not I want to actually run it automated, or if I'm just running it on the, you know, to back test. So this here, it says automate. So I have it set for true. So I would be running like live automation and algorithmic trading, where I just kind of step away. If I put that to false, then the conditions that makes it run are similar, but at the same time, it will actually allow me to do back testing on the data. And I've heard some people say before, like when you make strategies and that kind of thing, that a lot of times you're going to end up forward testing it. You can't do a lot of back testing. Well, you can't do a lot of back testing if you don't have the data. But like I said, I store and stream a lot of my data, so I have it stored so I can back test on it. You just have to have it set up right. Okay, so, and then here is the other script that I wrote sometime last week or so, just to kind of track the P&L, right? So we can see the P&L started down here. All right, so the P&L started down here, and then it moved up into this range when I had the settings set incorrectly. And then once I got it set correctly, then the P&L started, you know, having a little bit more variation. Okay, but it ended up right around here. Okay. All right, so volume profile. This is what I came up with. I'm gonna reset this here in a second, and this is not done. Excuse me. I don't know if I'm gonna actually go through. What is it? Already 11 minutes in. Man, I just don't have the energy to do long videos like I used to. And I think that's mostly because the stuff that I'm doing now is a lot more complicated. And so I just don't. I don't know. And maybe if I did them during the middle of the day when I really am just kind of hanging out and working on scripts. But now at the end of the day, I really, man, that mental capacity, you know, your mental faculties kind of degrade a little bit as the day ends. So trying to do this at 10 o'clock, probably not a great idea. But anyway, so this is the volume profile, and it essentially runs from here back 60 bars to here. Okay, and so what we're doing is we're taking the price series provider, and we're running 1 minute bars. Is running 60 of them, and so what I did was I took the volume of each bar and I assigned it to the close of the bar, and I added to the volume. I added the volume to the volume before it into a dictionary. And so once that dictionary was once the dictionary is set, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can do this all right now, because I mean, it took me a while. I'll just kind of get started with it, and then when I get tired, I will stop and I'll let you guys guess the rest. Okay, so if I take this off right now and then I put it back on, it's going to go to the, you know, the last grouping. Okay. Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I just kind of put it together, so I still need to work on it. As far as I'm concerned, this should be going back 60 bars, and the longest volume should go the entire length. And it did that when I reset it around 6 o'clock, but it's not going the entire length right now. So like I said, this is not done. This is not done. There's a possibility as I go over it now, I could, I could actually come up with the solution to what my issues were, but I highly doubt it at 10 o'clock at night. Highly doubt it. Crazier things have happened. TS volume profile. My heart's not in it, folks. I would have got on earlier, but I was watching TV with the wife. So, all right. So one of the things, so in order to draw these lines, we're going to be making, we're going to be using trend lines. So one of the things that we do need to do is open the namespaces that gets our trend lines. So EL system, then EL system. I know we need collections as well because we'll be using the dictionary. EL system dot drawing using EL system dot drawing objects. Okay, variable. We're gonna have a dictionary. We're gonna call it D price. Null. Trend line. It's just gonna be called TRL. Null. Okay, and then once on the chart, we need to bring those things in. So D price equals new dictionary. Okay, and then TRL equals, we'll just put, can we do new trend line without you know, actually saying what it is? Let's see. Looks like we can, and there's no issues there. All right, so I wonder if we can go ahead and drawing objects. Well, we don't need to do that. We can add that afterwards. Okay, so we're going to be using price series provider. We're going to the toolbox, pull up price series provider. Price series provider pretty much just finds the information for the for a range or a range of bars over a certain amount of intervals. And it doesn't have to be bars. It can be time. It could be, you know, several things. So we're going to go here and load is going to be true. Name PSP. The interval, we're going to do the chart type. It's going to be bars, not volume, minutes, 1 minute intervals, and then the range is going to be, we're going to do it over 60 bars, so 1 hour, and this will be for bars. If you change this bars to like days or date or months or something like that, if you change it to days, then the number that you put here, instead of putting 60 in bars, you put 60 in days. All right, you put 60 there, but we're not, we're going with bars. That's going to be our range. So you see it automatically change anyway. Once I put bars here, it automatically moved the prompt to the bars and it went to 500, but we're just going to do 60. Okay, and then I think there's symbol, just like that. All right, verify no issues there, so we'll go ahead and close this out. All right, so now, again, the idea is that for every price level, going by ticks, we need to find the value, find the volume. So this close here happened right here. This close happened at 52.19, I think. At 52.19. So then we're going to assign whatever volume happened here. We're going to assign it to 52.19. We're going to assign it to the close. We could assign it to the mid bar, high, open, low, close, whatever. We're going to assign it to the close. If you get to a lower time frame or something like that, 15-second time frame, 1 second time frame, you know, you can come up with some more creative ways to assign your volume, but we're just going to assign it to the close. Okay, so the idea here, what we're going to do is we're going to take the dictionary, we're going to assign, so our key will be the price and our value will be the volume. And now we need to keep adding to the volume every time we get a new close at that price. So this is what it's going to look like. And this does get very confusing. I'm going to be 100% with you. All right, so what are we going to do here? We're going to take the, so if it's the last bar on chart, and begin, and all right, we're going to we'll do check, we'll do call it like find volume. I just make it find values. Trying to make it something that makes sense and that I can track well. All right, I'm not sure if we need, I do think we need this, so we'll do that, and then we'll do begin, and then we'll do for x equals. All right, so for the price series provider, we should have a certain amount of components or indexes within it, and so we're going to go x equals 0 to psp.count minus 1, then that'll be a begin, that'll have an end, and then this will be an end. And so what are we going to do for each index of our data? What are we going to do? We're going to add to the dictionary. Okay, so if the price contains what should it contain? The price level. The price level will come out as a number, so we need to convert it to a string. So it'll be psp dot close of the index, and that's going to be a number. So like I said, we need to move it to a string by going num to string, and that'll give us a string. The price that contains that. If it does have, if it already has a dictionary entry, then we're just going to add the newest volume to the volume that's already there. And one of the things I kind of had to figure out is that you can't use, normally you can do plus equals. Well, you can't do that with the dictionary. That's because you can't, as far as I can tell, you can't overwrite the dictionary entry. It'll say that there's already a dictionary entry, so you have to erase the dictionary entry and then put the new one in there. So if it does already have a dictionary entry, then we want to begin. We're going to hold a value. We're going to hold a value in value 1. So value 1 is going to be equal to the price with the index of the close price, which will happen to be, and this needs to be a string also, so it'll also be number to string. It'll just be essentially this, because this is what we checked, right? So this is what it is. All right, so we're going to take that, so we're taking the key from the dictionary, and then we're assigning whatever is in there to value 1 as type double. Okay, and then, so if we already have an entry, we're taking whatever's in there, assigning it to value 1, and then we're going to take value 1 and we're going to say plus equals. Now we can use plus equals because value 1 can do that. So now we're going to say value 1 plus equals the volume. So psp dot and it's going to be the volume at that index, the index of x. Okay, and we can say as type double. I don't think we need to, but all right, so now that we have that new value of that new updated value of value 1, now we need to clear the dictionary entry and then re-add it. Okay, so now we're going to do the price dot I think it is remove what? Remove the index string key, this same string key, remove that. Okay, and now we're going to add value 1. So now dprice.add. What is the string key? Same thing. And then what is the object value that we're going to add? Will be value 1. Okay. All right. So if the price does have an entry for the, if the dictionary does have an entry for that price level, then we're going to do this. So it's just adding the volume to what's already there. Okay. Or else, so if then begin, end, else begin, end. So if it doesn't have an entry, then all we need to do at this point is just assign the current volume to the price level. So we're going to say that dprice.add, and it'll be that same key, number of string, and then it'll be the volume, psp.data.volume at x. Okay, and it's going to go through the whole routine of those, and it's going to go through all of these. Okay. All right. I think that's it for that. I'm sure we're going to get some errors. Let's go ahead and sort through them. Method. Oh, void. Huh? Void. Wow. No errors? Chat. Your boy's getting nice. Okay. All right. Well, whatever. Let's see if we can get through the rest of it. Okay. So now that we should have the values assigned and aggregated for the volumes at each price level. Now we want to draw the volumes. Now we want to draw the representation of the volumes. Okay. So now we're going to do draw lines. Okay. And this would be another method. I think, yeah, we're going to need to count for this as well because we got to loop through. Bang! Okay, so for x equals 0 to psp.count minus 1 begin end. Okay, so now what are we going to do? So now, so for each trend line, we need to have a beginning point and an end point. So this is what I did for this. I had a beginning point and end point. So we did a DO point or BN point. BP for beginning point. And then BN point, EP for end point. All right. And so we need to assign the beginning point. It's going to be equal to something, and the end point is going to be equal to something. Okay, so the beginning point is going to be bnPoint.create. That's how you create it. You can do bar number or price, bar number and then price. All right, so the bar number is going to be bar number plus max bars back minus 1, and we're going to start at the beginning of this whole range, which should have been 60 bars ago according to the information that we put into the PSP, because we're only going for a range of 60 bars. So 60 bars ago. All right, so begin point, end point. All right, that, and then no. We need to subtract 60 more bars from that. And then what price level are we going to do? Well, the price level that we're going to put this at is going to be the same level of the close of this index. So what is the close level of the index? And it's a number. It will be PSP dot data dot close of index X, and we can do that as type double. All right, and then the endpoint will be a bn point dot create bar number plus max bars back, and this is the part that gets interesting. Okay, so now we got to do some calculations there. All right, so we're going to do something else there because we can't have it at the same starting point. It's got to be offset by some number, and then it's got to be this, because it's a horizontal line, we want to put it at the exact same price as this. Okay, so we just copy this, paste this. Okay, and then when we get done with that, now we're going to create that trend line. So TRL equals trendline dot create, and then we're going to use a beginning point, end point, and then that, and then we can do drawing objects to actually bring it onto the chart. Drawing objects at TRL, that, and then I think, well, I'll show you that here in a minute, and then show you what I do next. Okay, so we need to figure out, so the idea here is if you are looking at this entire range here, say this is 60 bars, you're looking at this entire range. Well, now I want my volume profile. You can have yours do whatever you want to do. I want my volume profile to stretch from here all the way to here. So I want it to stretch 60 bars. What if this is 60 bars? I want it to stretch 60 bars with whichever one has the most volume. So the one that has the most volume will stretch 60 bars. And then, you know, it'll be increments thereof. So now I need to figure out which of these PSPs, which of these in the series has the most volume. So now we need to have another most volume. Okay, so now I'm gonna have one more. So before I draw lines, I need to have another one that says max volume. So now we're gonna have another method void max volume, and then this also will have a series of loops. So we'll have a begin and an end with a integer of x, and so now we're just going to loop through every all the elements, all the indexes, and see which one has the most. And for that we'll use max list. So we'll say most volume is equal to max list. So this will give us a maximum of the comparison of a number of numbers. Okay, so let's see. So we're going to use a loop for this. For x equals 0, so the first item in the index series, x equals 0 to psp.count -1 begin, and then you want to end. Okay, and then before we start this loop though, I want to go ahead and reset, just to make sure. I want to reset max volume or most volume equal to 0. Okay, because we're going to be comparing this most volume to every volume in the PSP, in the price series provider. Okay, so most volume is going to be the first element. Okay, and then the next element is going to be the psp.data.volume of the index, and that's going to be as type double. Okay, so it's going to choose the highest between this one and this one. It's going to choose the highest of those and assign it to most volume. And then when it comes through the loop again, now most volume is a different number. It was the higher before, right? So now that number is here, and now the PSP of the next index will be here. So it'll just keep going through the entire list and find the absolute highest, and then that'll be equal to most volume. Okay, so now most volume will be now since we did max volume first, now when we come down and draw lines, now most volume is usable in here. Okay, so we're going to use most volume, and I had something called like increments before. So increments will be, so here if we do that, the entire range should be equal to the maximum volume, then what's the ratio, what's the increments for each bar? So now we need to find volume per bar. So the increments will be the max volume or most volume over the number of bars, which is 60 bars. Okay, and then that'll be the increments. So for every bar should be will essentially, now just based on the line that we're looking at, now every bar from bar to bar to bar to bar to bar, every bar should represent a certain amount of volume. Okay, so that volume just happens to be volume per bar, volume over bar, so most volume over that. Okay, so this is equal to volume, increment is equal to volume per bar. And so now once we have the volume, okay, so now we need to look at the volume for the index that we're at. So the volume would be psp.data.volume of the x as type double. Okay, so we're going to take the volume, and then we have volume per bar. So now we're going to divide that by increment, and that should equal the number of bars. Bar span. Okay, so bar span and increment. Okay, so now the bar span should be the number of bars from left to right, should be the number of bars that we need for our line to stretch. So if this minus 60 is all the way to the left, now we then need to add to it our bar span. I think that's right. All right, I'm just gonna hit verify. All right, verify. PSP, verify. Once, let's semicolon. Okay, no errors. Wow. I am impressed. All right, so now we're gonna go open a TS volume profile and see what we get. See if it's, I think I'm gonna have some issues. I'm not that good, not yet. Not yet. Not for it to just work that easily without a lot of headache. Not good that yet. Not good that yet. Not that good just yet. All right, anyway, extended volume information data was not requested. Really? All right. Extended volume information data was not requested. Property include volume info. And I do know what that's asking for, because I go back here and it says includes volume info. I don't know why it wouldn't just automatically include it. I guess normally it's just looking for the price information. which it is price series provider. So, all right, let's try it now. Now we have to re-add it. Wow, maybe I am that good. God almighty. All right, you see we have all these labels here now. So now we want to get rid of those labels. So we go to trl.show labels equals false. Okay, and you see there it just added a new one. Well, with every minute it's going to try to add a new volume profile. Now I've just got to figure out how to make that not happen. And I'm actually okay with it happening. I just needed for it to delete the ones that were on before it, and I should be able to do that by going through the vector of drawing objects, assigning everything, deleting everything, and so on every bar it's just going to redraw a new profile, which that'd be kind of cool to see it kind of moving forward too. But then I know that typically you'll see your volume profiles that just start at the beginning of the day or whatever, and then it just keeps going on and on and on. And you have to keep in mind as the chart goes on and the left hand side of the screen moves further and further that you're going to end up not seeing it. So that's obviously why a lot of volume profiles start over here, go from right to left. Haven't really decided. I mean, this is my first time making this. I got the idea of doing this from Markplex, so big shout out to Markplex. I didn't use any of his coding, but I did see the video, and he gave me the idea of using price series provider, and he made it make sense. So I appreciate him for that. But like I said, he does show some of his show some of his program on the YouTube video that he has, and I think he might sell it as well, so you can just kind of download it. You do whatever tickles your fancy, but this is my first attempt at it, so I'm not done yet. But this was good to see it just kind of come together on the chart. I'm very tickled. All right, but you see how this is superimposed? Like you have this line that starts here, and then this line starts here. So for every bar, we're going to get a new set of these on here. So in the meantime, what you could do is you could just say, all right, we'll only do this one time. So once begin new trend line, if last bar on chart, then begin. So you can say if last bar on chart, then do this stuff once. And then it'll just do it one time, and then you'll go on to multiple bars. Now, none of this will be included in the multiple bars, right? Okay, and you see here that this is the largest volume here. This is the largest volume here. Well, that references this close right here. This close was also, I don't know if this is a session time. No, I don't think so. It's 2209, but this was the largest volume in this whole mix right here. That volume there. Okay. Yeah, so very cool. And like down here, we don't have any, I guess this close is here. So in this area here where we don't have any closes at, we're not getting any lines for the volume profile, right? Like this range right through here where we don't have any closes over here, right through here. So we don't get a volume profile there. So it makes sense. All right, what else was I looking at? Oh yeah, okay. Because I was looking here at this bar and I was like, well, there's not a line right here and this bar ends right here. Well, this is not where this bar ends at. This is not a bullish bar. This is where this bar begins at. It ends down here. All right, so very, very cool. Very cool. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I only dreamed about being able to produce. So this is cool. I don't even know what to do with it now. Of course, you can change the color to make it, well, I mean, this is already a little bit transparent, but you can change the colors to make it a little bit more transparent. So you could say, all right, so trl.color equals color.from argb, and then you see it said the values there. We'll put 75, so that'll be somewhat transparent, and then we'll put red, green, blue. We'll do no red, no green, and then we'll do full blue, 255. Okay, so it makes it like that, but you see that makes it, very faint, transparent. The higher you make this number up to 255, the more solid it'll be. Okay, so, yeah. All right, cool. Unless anybody has any questions, I think I'm gonna shut it off there. And I mean, I knocked that out in 46 minutes. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else I want to do. This was kind of cool. I mean, I made it on this thing. The only other thing I was working on a little bit later this afternoon was, all right, when you go over here to properties, if you want to change this. So I was thinking about changing this number or being able to change it on the fly, and I couldn't see how to change it on the fly because I wanted to change like bars. I wanted to change bars, which bars says my range.bars equals 300. But if you go over here and you put into your one statement, you say psp.bars. It doesn't even have bars. It was like psp. Range. Range.bars equals, if I put 60 there, then I hit verify, then it says essentially that it's a read-only object and it can't be modified. So I'd like to be able to modify this on the fly by putting it as an input or something like that, but I can't see how I can adjust that from within the chart itself or from the chart properties. So range sets and gets data range values for the price bars. Gets the date, gets the data range values for the price bars. Methods. Range methods creates. Gets, so it gets and sets. I wonder if I don't assign it at the beginning. If I don't assign it here, then if I go through and verify it, yeah, see it says it's expecting something there. And could I, well, I mean, that's at the beginning of the script. Could I just do PSP range.bars equals 60 on every bar? Nope. Still says read only. So that's the only thing that I'm trying to get over now. And I can't put a variable there, can I? Nope. Doesn't like a variable or anything. Will it let me add it like with a plus equals to say that it's an update? Nah, doesn't like that. I think it'd want a method there anyway. Yeah, operators plus equals minus equals cannot be applied to properties. I don't know if there's, I'm trying to think of a slick way around it, to get around it, but I can't think of a slick way to get around it. The only thing I could do, and since this code is not it's not terribly complicated, I tell you this, in the past, you know, when I went over order tickets with you guys, coming up with a strategy and looking at order tickets, and on that specific script, we had a lot of order tickets. We had a bracket order ticket, one order since order. We had, we might have had an orders provider and a positions provider, but we took all that stuff, we went into designer generated code, and when we tried to move all that over, I think every time we wanted to change something, we had to change it all or something like that. So it became a big thing. But what I could do, I think, is I could go in here and I could go to designer generated code. Now that we have all this how we want it, and we don't plan on changing anything, and really don't plan on changing anything else with this script, we go to designer generated code, and then this is the designer generated code that would populate. So we'll just take all this and then copy it, and then go over to TS volume profile, and then we go here, and then we go paste, and then we just take this and drag it right here with a comma, and then delete, and a delete, and now we can verify it, and we can delete this one, and we can verify it, and now it's good to go. Now it's good to go. Okay, so now we come back over to our script, wait a minute. It's saying something. I mean, it's verified, there's no errors or anything like that, but when we come back over here to his volume profile, it's not highlighted. Now, why is that? Tell you what, let's TS volume profile, there it is. Okay. A read-only object cannot be modified. It's still not happy with that. Okay, so that being said, we might be able to change it from right here, right? Because this is where it is. So we need to get rid of this one right here. Okay, verify that. Go back here. Yes, it will add. Okay, very good. All right, now let's see if we can change it from here. So instead of 60 bars, now once we change 60, everything is going to get off. We have to change it in multiple places, but let's see if we can. And I think the reason why I won't let us change it in any other place is because the way that this is set up, where this method is set up, the initialize component, this data has to be here this has to be ready to go before or when the chart opens. You can't be adding to it and changing it after the fact. If you do, then you need to reinitialize, right? So I think if we were to change this, if we were to have an input, this is my last option. This is my only other option. If we'd have an input and we'd say bar interval, and then we start at 60, could we do that? Could we do that? I got a funny feeling, like it said it only wants a number here. Got a funny feeling it's not going to let us put a variable here. But it did. And this is bars. This is a this bar interval 60. It probably thinks that it's a double. Let's just make sure that we know, let it know that it's an integer. That way it won't be worried about losing bits of precision. Okay, so we verify that. Now we don't have any errors. And now we come back over here, and so the chart still looks fine. So now we should be able to come over here, go to edit studies, and then go to TS volume profile. You see it's got 60 here. We change this to like the last 100 bars, and then hit that. Oh wow, that works good. Okay, so now we just changed this to, and remember, we tried to do this before. We tried to put a variable in there before. Oh, but we didn't put it as a input. We put it as a variable. I bet that's the difference. Okay, all right. Well, there's a way we can check for that. So let's try this first. So that's bar interval. That was 60. This is bar interval. So everywhere where we have 60, we're just going to replace it with bar interval, because that's essentially our variable that's working on the number 60 or there. Okay, so that's good. Verify that. Okay, so now when we do 60, excuse me, when we change it to whatever we change it to, it goes back even further. Okay, so now if we go back in here and we go back and we change that from 100 to 120, now it should go back even further. Yes, it did. Okay, cool. And it's still capturing the this one that has the largest volume is this close. It's still capturing that as the largest one. Okay, this one here looks like the next highest close. Then you go straight up. That's this close here, and it's on this line. Gosh, man, this is awesome. This is awesome. I did it. I did it. Thanks to the help of Markplex, though. I mean, you know, gosh, man, it's great to get some inspiration from places, and that's what I keep telling you guys too, though. I mean, it's like I said, tell me some things that you want to see so I can try to learn and program some new things, because right now I feel like I've coded enough that I can do just about enough that I want or need to do, but I need to be challenged to do the next thing. So yeah, let me know some things you want to see. Okay, that's awesome. All right, so let's go back and let's look here. I think I had when I made my, and I'm going to keep this one because this one is good. TS volume profile. I'm going to keep this one, but excuse me. The one that I made earlier was this one here, 080624 ES volume histogram. You see I have the PSP here. So when you go over to the side here, like I said, you can't put, it won't let you put in 100, right? No, it won't let you put in value 2, right? Okay, but, and then I think I had something called range R, and it didn't want to take range R either. Look at that, range R. Okay, now range R is a variable that I've already declared. It's there, and it's and it's here. Just because I couldn't get it to go in here, I just went ahead and assigned it to 60 because I changed it in a couple places, so I didn't want to have to change it back. All right. Now let's try taking range R, and now once you make it an input, you can't then assign a value to it later in the script. So we're going to take the assignment off. We're going to take range R, we're going to make it an input, and then we're going to see if the chart approves. I have a feeling that it will. Will not. Will not. Yeah, so I mean, it looks like the going way to do it would be to do essentially what we did over here on the other chart, is to take this information from your PSP, take it, pull up the designer generated code, copy and then paste that into your script, and then from your script you can put an input there, and then use that same input's name, bar interval, and assign that to your range.bars. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, because it's got to be done at the initialized component part. I wonder if we would go to the designer generate code, but we can't change this, can we? No, you can't change this. Only way that you can do it is, like I said, just kind of copy it out and do without the toolbox altogether. All right, I don't know who came in the room, but you have any questions, let me know, because I'm just about to shut it down. I went through everything with the OneDrive already, and then here's the volume profile that I put together. Obviously, if you didn't get the first part of it, just go back to the first part of the video, and we just kind of went over everything that it took to get to the finish line on that, and it actually wasn't too bad. So I think this is what it took from start to finish. Wasn't too bad at all. And then, like I said, the way that we have it set up now, you can change it from the parameters property. So instead of going back 120 bars, we started at 60 bars, and then that changes your volume profile. And I mean, I'm still surprised at how quick that thing is, man. It is just so freaking quick. It's just quick. All right, well, I think this is going to be something that I ask in the TradeStation forums tomorrow, if there's any other way around it. But yeah, this is good. This is good. So for now, everybody have a good night. Spent what, an hour hanging out. This is it's just an hour. Anyway, again, folks, I hope you got something out of this. As always, just try to do something with programming every day. Learn something, a little something more every day, and that's how you get to the finish line. It's not by taking leaps and bounds. You know, you trip up easy with leaps and bounds. You twist ankles. I mean, a lot goes on with leaps and bounds. Just take steps. Just take steps. And that's all I'm doing. I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a hurry. Just taking steps. So, in the meantime, be smart, be safe, trade green. I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.